Now, one of the best strategies for growing your coaching business using Skool communities is the freemium model. And this is where you go from free to paid, either with two communities, one which is free, and then you move people to the paid one, or by having one community which is free, and then you have paid elements inside. But there are problems to this strategy, which I'm going to get into in just a moment. And I think I've come up with a new strategy that is going to be really the best way for you to have all of the benefits of freemium, but without all of the problems of having potentially two communities or trying to fit everybody into one community. Because yes, tiers are coming, and maybe when you're watching this, tiers are already here, but they still cause us problems, because if we have multiple layers inside, we can charge extra subscriptions, we can make things separate, but we can't separate the community yet in terms of Skool, which means there's no separate cohort area. There's no break-off groups or rooms that we can move people into as a coach if we're working with a particular group of people. And if you're doing the freemium model, when I was doing this, the biggest issue that I came across from having two communities and moving people from the free one into the paid one was that you got a massive brain drain. So the brain drain is a real problem, because when you have a community, maybe 1 in 10 people are going to be active. So very few people are actually going to get involved. It's not that they're not interested in your content. They're just the people that like to sit back, not really get that involved. And if you read books on cults, which are very similar to communities and movements, there's a book called Influence, which goes into the psychology of this, and it's brilliant. But basically, you need a few key people to get involved, be active, and to motivate others to start taking action. Think of it like going to a party, and at the beginning, nobody's dancing. And then there's a few people that have the balls and the audacity to jump up and start dancing for no reason. And then people gain confidence and they start to join them. So you need those core active people. And I've noticed that maybe only about 1 in 10 or 10%, 20 if you're lucky, are going to be active in your community. So you need those people driving forward your free community. However, those are also the action takers and the people that are most likely to go to your paid offers. So you're going to be pulling those people out, meaning that the activity in your community is going to go down. You lose the people that are willing to just dance for no reason, and you have to show up to your community more and put a huge amount more effort into driving that free community forward and keeping it motivated and working. But you're always moving out those active people. So you're continuously getting a brain drain, and this leads to the zombie effect, where all of the cool, interesting people are sucked out, and you just end up with a sort of zombified community of people that aren't really taking action, and you're having to push it forward. And it is actually quite problematic. So this has really been the problem of the freemium model of going from a free community to a paid community. So how can we get around this? What can we do to fix this? Because many people seem to think that tiers is going to fix this. But if everybody is having to use the same community feed and nothing is exclusive, and let's say that you do a high ticket program, then people are going to want a little bit of exclusivity, the exclusivity. God, if I can say that word properly. They're going to want things to be a bit more exclusive. They're going to want to have an area where they can just work together with those people. But you don't want to suck them out at the same time. And maybe you're going to have the free level inside. Maybe you're going to have a low ticket program where you've got weekly calls that people show up. And then this is going to be your high ticket cohort that you then work with those people in a small group. Now, it could just be on calls, and that would be fine. And you can just keep that active inside. But maybe you're giving people feedback. You want to have that cohort in an active space. And I see people creating WhatsApp groups and so on. But then this gets messy and you're moving people off the Skool platform. So how can we have the best of everything? How can we have just one Skool platform, just one, that is our main core one, while still getting the benefits of having a separate cohort for, let's say, a 8-week program that we want to do with our coaching clients? Well, this is where I think that liquidating communities come in, because what you can do is you can actually create exclusive areas in $9 Skool communities that is just temporary. So you literally just set it up with nothing but the calls inside and maybe a little bit of coursework, and for them to communicate with you, and that's it. So you create a $9 temporary liquidating community that after, say, 8 weeks of the cohort, that community will self-destruct. It will not exist anymore. So you still have your main Skool community, and this is the hub of your business. It's where you're managing all of the contacts. It's where most of the calls and announcements and everything is happening inside. This is even where you take the payments. So because the $9 Skool community has a 10% charge rate on cards, if you've got your main full community, which is say the $99 one, you can charge your high ticket programs of your, above $1,000 inside this, and then you drop them manually into the $9 Skool community. That will self-destruct and explode in 8 weeks. It will no longer be there after that period. It'll be gone, finished. So it's literally going to liquidate into absolute nothing and disappear. And then you can close it down, or you can remove those people and keep paying the $9 if you want, and then add new people inside. But you're going to have all the old posts and so on. So maybe you just want to let it liquidate and then create a brand new $9 community again for your next cohort of high ticket people. So maybe you had 10 people paying you $2,000. It's an 8-week program. You're going to be doing most of the announcements in there. They know that the main community is going to remain the main community, but for the 8 weeks, you're going to have this small community that you're going to be active in, and you're going to do all of the extra information that's secret. So they still have the exclusive area for them, but then after that, it disappears. And then they move back to the main community. You don't lose the brain drain completely. They know that they're still going to want to show up to calls. You could incentivize them by saying we'll give you access as part of the package for the main one to the lower one. So then they will still turn up to calls in the other community and so on and remain active. But then rather than having them stay in this, because if you kept this $9 community going, they would remain in that one probably potentially more. But after work is done in these types of high ticket communities, once the coursework's done and they leave, even if you bring new people in, those people are not necessarily going to be active. So you really want to continue to keep everybody in the one main community. And again, you could have layers to this, but I think this breakaway sort of project level communities, or liquidating communities as I like to call them, is a great way for you to get the benefit of having one main core community, taking your payments in there and everything else, but then you can just manually drop a few people in for a short period of time into a $9 account. Costs you nothing, all of the benefits of the exclusive area without losing all of the brain drain and the problems into the old community, the main community as well. Now, with that said, if you'd like more help growing your community, then I will link to our free group in the video description. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.